I mean, you're literally talking about 80 people. We got 5 here. So that's fine. But you're going to get a little bit of extra something that the other people aren't going to get. Because I'm actually going to cut it from the video because they don't deserve it. They're not here. I'm not going to penalize them, but I'm not going to do a bunch of extra stuff as far as showing you extra things. And then they just go, well, I'll just watch it later and I'll have the same benefit. Now they'll get the 3 codes. I have to do that. So I'm going to actually do that first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to screen share. You're obviously on the computer. So let's do that little test real. You know what? That test may actually say it's closed until like 6:30. But let me give you the codes. Let me open it up. When I say 6:30, it may not open until 7. I don't know. So you're going to write down the codes, and you may have to wait till 7 tonight. Take it, or you can take it anytime this week, but I will wait until 7. So I'm in this section. It doesn't matter what section you're in, they're all the same. So let's go. I don't want to go to grades, and that's what you show it was grades. But let me go to quizzes. We can get this out of the way. I wouldn't do it right now because I think it says like 7 o'clock. I'm not sure. Let me double check this. Yeah, 8. Let me see what it says. It's okay, so it's available from November 8th at 6 p.m. So it's actually available. So if you want to take it now, you can actually do it right now. If not, write down the codes. So I have to go to the edit here. I'm in the instructor version, but you should be able to see what I see because I'm doing screen share. Questions, show questions detail. All right, so you got a pen or pencil, make a note of this. Question number 1, 656, the code. Question number 2 is 212. Can you guys see this? Somebody say yes or no. Yes?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay. And then question number 3 is 113. So if you go to your section, remember this is all being recorded. So I'll go to, if you're in section 70, 71, 72, doesn't matter. So if I go to modules, you can follow along with me if you want. You don't have to do it now. If you want to get it out of the way, go to module, I don't know, what module is this? 13. And click on this, module 13.09. You click on that. And yours may be different. Like I said, I'm in the instructor view. You could take it right now if you want to do that. So if you're on the computer, do that and get it out of the way. Go ahead, everybody go ahead and do that real quick. Is everybody able to do that? Go to modules, this one, click it, click. I think yours says not preview, but take exam.
Yeah, mine allows me to do it.
Yeah, okay. So take those 3 and click enter. You should, in your grades, it should show 100%. Has anybody done it yet and seen 100%? Just let me know if it works. I'm not really sure, like in the middle of a meeting.
Mine just says 15 out of 15.
Oh, yeah, it should say percent. Yeah, that's the same thing.
Okay.
Let me, what section are you in, do you know?
What section? Let me go back.
grades. I have to change that real quick. It should say out of 15. Oh, some people here have already done it 100%. So you're not in section 70, maybe you're in 71. Let me check. Because I do everything about percentages.
Mine's in 72.
Okay, let me make
So
sure.
162-72.
Okay, thanks. But this should integrate as percentage. That should be percentage too. It's on section 72. Where's that at? It should be percentages. I don't know why it's showing its numbers on yours, because it's showing its percentages here. See what I mean?
Let me see.
I bet it changed it. But
If I go to the grades part, it will show me
percentages.
score. Yeah, but when after we take the test, it just says 15 out of 15.
Oh, okay, don't worry about it. It's the same thing.
Okay.
Some people do points, some do percentages. I just do percentages. Okay, so tonight I'm not going to keep you that long. Because actually from this point forward, I'm going to cut most of this when I post it, because the people not here, I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to penalize somebody. They can get their points, but I want to show you something on this. So these are the 3 sections, so it doesn't matter which one you're in. I'm going to go to section 70. I'm going to go to grades here. I'm going to show you something. If you want to follow along with me, I'm going to show you something here. Now, this sound bonus point, it says at a 0.24. We've been over this before. These are like little sound clips I have throughout the site. People will say, well, that's nutrition. Why do you have that? I said, just for fun, just to encourage them to read and navigate, and they find a bonus point here and there. But remember, like 1, 2, 3 people figured this out. It should be everybody. But if you navigate the site, there's all kinds of information and documents about nutrition and vitamins and minerals and little, a sound, and you make a choice and you can enter it and get a point. Like somebody's got 3, somebody got 1, somebody got 1, somebody got 0. It means they tried it, they didn't get any. But this is a quiz. So if you're in there right now, you can follow along with me, because I'm doing a screen share. So if you, I don't know if screen share, that means you're looking at my screen, right? Well, that's okay. Well, anyway, I'll show you how to do it. So this takes you to the sound bonus point quiz. If you notice, it says it's worth 0.24. It's actually worth 24 points. But when I preview it, and I haven't listened to any of the sounds. Of course, these are older sounds, because I'm an older guy from an older movies, and etc. There's, I think, 19 questions, or 20 questions, one's worth 5. Suppose I don't listen to any, this explains everything. Suppose I don't listen to any of the sounds, or even look them up. Even if you don't know them, you look them up on the internet. And I say, I won all 24 points. Now remember, this says you can take the test 19 times, or maybe 20 times. Without even reading the question or the answer, I'm just going to click the first one. I'm not going to do it right here. On each one, number one, I'm going to go all the way down to question number 20. And I'm going to click number 1, and I'm going to click submit score or grade. And it's going to give me a grade. It's going to say you got like 4 out of 20, 5 out of 20, or whatever. But I took it one time, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to write down the number of the question and the answer that I got right, so I don't enter that, so that when I take it again, I enter the correct answer. Then I'm going to take it again, and I'm going to now enter the second answer on each one. Unless, let's say, the first answer was correct, and I wrote it down, I go, oh, number 5, I don't know if this is true or not. The first answer was correct, then obviously I would re-enter the first answer. Do you see what, are you following me? And then I'd say, okay, number 6, the second answer, number 7, the second answer, number 3, the second answer, or number 9. I'm gonna go all the way down to and enter the second answer, except on the questions where the first answer was right. I'm gonna click submit score or submit test. And all the ones that were the first answer will be correct. And now the ones that the second answer is correct will also be correct. And so I'm gonna make a note of the ones that were correct for answer number 2. So maybe question number 8 was correct for answer number 2. Then I'm going to take it a third time. And I'm going to end, when I get to the question, I'm going to say, was it the first one or the second one? If not, then I'm going to put question number 3 in every single one of them and submit it and see which ones are correct for number 3. But obviously, I'm going to re-enter the ones that are correct for number 1 and number 2. So literally, the most number of answers there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think 8. So the most number of times you would take it would have to be 8, not 19. That's how you get all 24 points. You don't just randomly guess each time. You do the first time, but then after you do it the first time, you know if the first question was right. Just don't randomly guess on the answers. Choose it. First one, you could do it the other way around if you wanted, but choose the first one, see which ones are correct, take it again, then choose the second one on every one. But if the first one was correct, make a note of that and obviously re-enter that. That's all, that's 24 points right there. That's a freebie. That sometimes makes a difference. So I would definitely do that. You should get 24. It'll say 24.24 because I have to make it worth 0.24. That way I know you're taking it. I can't make it worth 0 because then it would be like, I wouldn't know how many you got right. Like for example, if you get 12 right, they'll say 0.12. I'll change that to 12. So this is worth, this is not really nutrition, but it's worth 20 points. It's a really interesting video. This right here is worth 20 points. It's a really interesting video, has a little bit of nutrition during development. This has a lot to do with nutrition. It's about water, and it's worth 25 points. Even if you only get half the questions right, it's not going to lower your grade, and this is worth 20 points. There's a lot of bonus points in here, all over the place. You get your average here high enough, and you won't even need to take the final. We've already talked about this. After we finish, and these are bonus points. This is just a course evaluation at the end. You get 10 points just for filling it out. Once we get to this part of the class, which is a little bit away, and you don't take the final, I'm going to give you 50%, just for random guessing. That 50% for a lot of people will still leave them in the A range. 90 or above is an A, not an A minus. Valley doesn't do pluses and minuses. So if I enter 50 and you have a 90 or above, no need to take it. 90 is an A, 100 is an A. It's no difference. I have a lot of people that literally could, their average is so high that I could almost enter 50% on test number 4. There may be a couple of people in that category. I don't know yet, but we'll see, because their average is so high that if they get to that point, they can say, well, am I exempt from this? I say, I don't know, let's enter 50% and see. But what I want to do tonight for this week, I want to examine and talk about a little bit about this video right here. Somebody's already taken it, which is fine. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about it, but I'm going to give you a few hints on some of the questions. This is something that very few people are aware of. When you watch this video, keep an open mind, because I think you're going to be very surprised about what is going on in this industry with fluoride in drinking water and fluoride in toothpaste. you watch the video and you take a little quiz. I'm going to give you a little bit of a hint on the quiz. I don't know if it's selected from the question bank or not, or if it's 10 straight questions. It may be 10 straight questions, but I'm going to actually do a little preview. Now, remember this video, there's a lot of it, and we're not going to watch the whole thing. It's an hour and 40 minutes. I think you'll find it fascinating and interesting. Like I said, I'm going to cut this part of it, so I have to, whatever we're going to do on the quiz, I'm going to have to tell you a little bit. I'm going to give you a little bit of a hint on some of the answers. Not all the answers, because then you won't watch the video. Fluoride is it's kind of like the whole field of nutrition. There's a lot of brainwashing. They've got dentists and doctors and dietitians and other people convinced that fluoride is good for you, and you probably have heard that it's good for your teeth, and so that's why they add it to toothpaste. That's not why they add it to toothpaste. There's a long history of fluoride. First of all, fluoride is not an element. Fluorine, look on the periodic chart, it's called fluorine, not fluoride. Fluoride is the solid form of fluorine. It's mainly sodium fluoride. Fluorine is a gas. Think of fluoride as being the solid form of it. There is no known function for fluoride in the body. None whatsoever. It's a poison. It's an enzyme that kills cells. It's a deadly poison. It's one of the most acidic substances known to mankind. It's called fluorosilicic acid. It's missing an electron, therefore it eats two things. It's an acid. So what's going on with fluoride, and why is it being added to toothpaste and other things? And this video will tell you why. Around 50, 60 years ago, the Industrial Revolution was producing toxic waste. The most toxic one was fluorine gas. And it was killing animals and harming people and etc. And it was very expensive to get rid of this toxic fluoride or fluorine, depending on what form it was in. Very, very expensive. And so they came up with a brilliant idea, being sarcastic, of saying, well, let's add it to drinking water, because there's some evidence that it makes your teeth a little bit harder and therefore you have less cavities. And the experiments began in Grand Rapids, Michigan, which was mainly a minority community at the time, which is unfortunate because they experimented in a minority community, and they added it to the drinking water. And sure enough, they had less cavities and other things, but there were many other problems actually associated with it. Fluoride is industrial toxic waste that's produced by the phosphate fertilizer industry when you make fertilizer. It's a waste product. And it's banned in every country in the world except for 6 countries, and those are all English-speaking countries. It's banned in China, it's banned in Mexico, it's banned in Japan, South Korea. All the industrialized companies ban it from being added to drinking water or any food product. The only countries that allow it to be added are the United States, Australia, and 2 or 3 other English-speaking countries out of the entire world. That's because they realize how toxic it is. It's extremely toxic. There is evidence that if you put fluoride on the surface of the teeth, only on the surface, that your teeth do become a little bit harder, which is good, but not internally, not taking it internally. In fact, if you read a tube of toothpaste sometime, it says, if swallowed, call poison control. Think about that. if swallowed, call poison control. Yet you're putting it in your mouth, your kid's mouth. If you eat half a tube of toothpaste, half a tube, you will die from fluoride poison. They've had instances of this happening. Yet they have dentists convinced that it's beneficial, and they add it to drinking water, etc. Now, they're getting less and less of it in the water because so many people were speaking out. But this documentary talks about this a lot. There's a long history of it. There's a lot of corruption involved in this industry. So when the FDA cut back on the regulations, they realized it was so toxic. What they decided to do, I'm going to go off screen share here a minute. What they decided to do was you can put it in a powdered form. And they started adding it to all kinds of things. They started adding it to cereals like Cheerios and Cocoa Puffs and bottled water even. If you look at bottled water, all bottled water in the US, none of it will say that it has fluoride. It's because the FDA doesn't require that, because they know people won't buy it if it says fluoride added. But any other country in the world, if there's fluoride in it, it'll be listed. Except in the US, they don't make them listed, which is mind-boggling. It's in Cheerios, by the way, and it's in Cocoa Puffs in powdered form, because they had to get rid of it some way. So they powderized it and added it to these cereals. It's in all kinds of things. It is so toxic, it's amazing. This film will absolutely open your eyes. I absolutely brush with non-fluoridated toothpaste, which you can buy it. Now, our bodies have an amazing ability to get rid of toxins and poisons. If you use toothpaste with fluoride in it, I don't think you're being poisoned unless you swallow it constantly. Unfortunately, kids do this. They make toothpaste taste like mint, make it taste good. And I've heard of kids actually eating toothpaste. Extremely dangerous. Dentists add fluoride to dental products and they put it on your teeth and etc. And they're just so unaware of how toxic it is to the body. No function for fluoride in any cell, no function whatsoever. Fluoride on the periodic chart is very close to calcium and some of the other elements. It is very close, especially to your what happens is it's close to iodine, which means it has chemical structure similar to iodine, very close. Your thyroid, butterfly-shaped gland in the front of your neck, requires iodine. In fact, there's a condition, goiter, which is an inflammation of the thyroid, looks like a big lump here, is lack of iodine. The thyroid needs iodine. The thyroid is the gland that controls your other glands. And if it doesn't get iodine, it looks for things that are similar. And fluoride is very similar to iodine. It starts taking in fluoride instead of iodine, and that causes goiters. And it causes hypothyroidism, which means low thyroid, lack of energy, cold spells, hot spells. It also replaces calcium in bones. They've done studies that show that fluoride makes bones thicker, but it makes them more brittle. And because it's very close to calcium too. Fluoride is something you do not want in your body. You don't need it, you don't want it. It does not make your teeth stronger unless you put it just on the surface. But if you take it internally, just think about how stupid that is. I mean, how does it get into your teeth? You don't have arteries and capillaries going into your teeth. It has no effect on your teeth. Fluoride in toothpaste has no effect on your teeth at all. It's making them harder. It's just a promotional thing that they use to sell toothpaste. They have some top PhDs and chemists, Nobel Prize winners that talk about this in this video. I avoid it like the plague. That water video, bonus video talks about it a little bit, but you'll never see it listed on any products, even though it's in everything. It's in drinking water all over the place. Think about it. It's banned in Mexico, but allowed in the US. It's banned in China, but allowed in the US. We buy it from Mexico and China. We buy their industrial waste products and put it in our own water. That is pure insanity. Yet in those countries, it's banned. That's one of the myths. It's actually a myth. It's true, but it's a myth. When they say, when you go to Mexico, don't drink the water because you'll get sick. If you're an American, there may be some truth to that, depending on where you go. But in reality, what's happening? If you get sick, but all the Mexicans don't get sick, is it the water that's contaminated, which may be slightly true, or is it the fact that your immune system is so weak that you can't handle any contamination? That's actually closer to the truth. They grew up drinking slightly contaminated, not grossly contaminated, but slightly dirty, slightly contaminated water, which is actually not dangerous for you. Animals do this in the wild all the time. And so when you go down there and you get exposed to the least little bacteria or virus or poison, and you have just this overreaction to it, it's because your immune system is not very healthy. And so a little bit of contamination is actually a good thing. Remember, that's hormesis, stress, that makes you stronger. You need hormesis. You need to be exposed to bacteria and viruses to build up your immune system, especially when you're younger. So it's stronger. But fluoride is not really, it doesn't mean you exposure, a little bit of fluoride makes you stronger. But I still think mild amounts are probably no big deal, but large amounts are just insane. There's actually in the grocery store, I saw it the other day, there's actually they sell water. I think it's Gerber or somebody sells, it's called Baby's First Water. And it actually says fortified with fluoride. They use fluoride from the water that they made it with, that's already in there. Then they added extra fluoride. Baby's teeth aren't even developed yet. That's one of the most damaging things you can do. That's almost poison to a baby, yet it's legal in the US. Watch the video, you'll see what I'm talking about. I think you're gonna have your eyes open as far as fluoride goes. Bottled water, be real careful. Make sure if you drink bottled water that it doesn't have fluoride. I'm gonna tell you the brand that has fluoride in it, that'll never tell you, because you're not required to list it, is Lake Arrowhead. Lake Arrowhead has fluoride in it. And I would never buy Lake Arrowhead water, bottled water. I don't even think it tastes that good. Most brands don't have fluoride, but some actually do. You can look it up on the internet, bottled water with fluoride, bottled water without fluoride, because they won't tell you on the label. If you're gonna drink bottled water, which is healthy, try to make sure it doesn't have fluoride. And try to get bottled water that has a high pH. When I say high pH, that means it's less acidic. As you go up on the pH level, that's less acidic, which is good for you. The lower the acid level is in water or anything, the healthier it is. Healthier people tend to have low pH levels. I think blood has a pH of about 7.2. Water has a pH of about 7. And it tends to be people that have cancer and heart disease have a lower pH level, which means it's more acidic, and that's associated with the disease. It'll tell you the pH level of bottled water. They lie on it a lot. You can buy testers and compare it, and it's nothing like what they say. A lot of times they'll say it's very alkaline, and you find out it's not near as alkaline as you might think. They lie a lot on the labels, just a tremendous amount. The FDA does a very poor job of regulating because they can't test everything. But watch the video. I'm only going to go a few more minutes on the meeting I want to show you since we're here. And guys, does anybody have any questions? Because that's all we're going to do tonight. And the posted video is just going to be a few minutes long because I'm deleting the rest of it. You get credit for being here or for the other part. Anybody have any questions? So you can go watch the election results. I'm going to go watch cartoons or something. Okay, guys? Good luck, and I will talk to you later.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Good night. Bye-bye.